So good morning, guys. Uh, so again, this class is for the class that we have already taken the day before yesterday. Okay. So the class that I was taking yesterday was disturbed because of my system. So I'm making this video for your help, guys. I know that I couldn't post the videos of yesterday's class. So this video will be a helpful device for you to revise all the content that we saw yesterday, and which was the continuation of the part one of movement of the object topic. ओके सो आज की क्लास जो मैं ये बना रहा हूँ ये आप लोगों की हेल्प के लिए है। ये वीडियो आप लोगों को कल मैं शेयर नहीं कर पाया था, सो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम जस्ट मेकिंग दिस वीडियो फॉर योर हेल्प. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द from the part where we were the day before yesterday. Okay, so again for that I have to share my screen, and I'm going to share my screen, and on my screen now you would be able to see all the content that we have already studied yesterday, but I'm making this video for your help because I couldn't post the video yesterday. Okay, so guys, now I think you are able to see my screen, and let me now first come to the slide where we were. Okay, let me do something. Okay, now it's correct. It's good. It's good. So okay, so let's have a little bit of revision of first class. Okay, where we have studied about the movement of the objects, and we saw different kinds of movement like rolling, spinning, and sliding. So we are going to revise it again. So types of movement. How many types of movement we saw in the first class? We are going to revise all that. Okay. So you just have to be with me with your focus, and the first kind of movement is sliding movement. Okay, some objects can slide or some object slides. Okay, and what are the object which slide? Okay, so let me start my annotating device. So this is a bat, and you can see the shape of it, and the shape of bat does not allow it to roll or spin. Okay, so it can only slide. The bat can only slide. Okay, the second object is ladder. Ladder shape is also that like that it cannot roll or spin, so it can only slide. Okay, so does the spoon. तो spoon भी slide ही करता है. Okay, so these kind of flat and long objects only slide. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide, which is this. Some objects roll. Some objects roll. You can see there is a ball and there is a orange. You can see the shape of it is round, completely round. It has no any flat surface on it. Yes, so these kind of objects can roll. These kinds of objects can roll. So ball, orange, tomato, apple, all these kind of round objects can roll. Yes, yes, but if you move it in a different way, if you do it like this, it can spin also. Yes, but rolling is its main and important movement. Okay, but it can spin also. Ye spin bhi kar sakta hai. Okay, so now let me move on to the next slide, which is the combination of both slide and roll. So here we are going to see that some objects like ring, bangle, and pencil can do both kind of movement. They can slide as well as they can roll. So आप लोग देख रहे हैं कि जो रिंग है, बैंगल है, एंड देयर इज अ पेंसिल, इनका इनका शेप कुछ ऐसा है कि ये एक तरफ से रोल भी कर सकते हैं. इफ यू throw it in a certain angle or with a certain surface, it can roll. Or if you throw it in a different angle or different posture, it can slide. ठीक, तो अगर यूं हम रिंग को रख के फिसलाएंगे तो ये स्लाइड करेगा, और अगर यूं खड़ी करके अगर हम इसको आगे बढ़ाएंगे तो ये रोल करेगा. So all these kind of movement these three objects can do, and there are so many objects that can do the same movements. Okay, so they can slide and roll. Yes. Okay, so let me move on to the next slide, and this is Yes. And some objects can spin. Some objects can spin. Yeah, spinning moment. To do a spinning moment, yes, an object must have a pointed edge, a pointed side. As you can see, these three objects I have a pot in the first, and a top, and a conical structure. Yes, so you can see that all these three objects have a pointed side. Yes, a narrow pointed side. Okay, so this kind of shape allows them to spin at one place. Yes, so these kind of objects can spin, but they can also roll. As you can see that their shape is also round, ये round है. So if you throw it in a certain posture or an angle, it can roll also. Yes, so it can do both kind of movements. It can slide, it can roll or spin. Yes, so these kind of movement we saw, and we also knew that one object can move in different way. Yes, so one object can do all the three kinds of movement or other kinds of movements. Okay, so you just have to look at it carefully. Yes, and you have to use your imagination power that how many movements these objects can do. Okay, that much liberty you must have while you are observing any object. Okay, so now next, we are going to the going to do the assessment part where we had left the class the day before yesterday. Okay, so this was where our main objective to do the assessment. Okay, that while doing assessment, we can see that how much we have grabbed, how much we have learned from those classes. Okay, so in the assessment part, I have got three kinds of activity. So the first activity is point out the correct box. Yes, point out the correct box. Point out the correct box. You can see that this side there are some structures. Some structures. Yes, some objects of different shapes. Yes, and before that we have three columns or three rows, you can see, and in all those rows there are different movements name are written. Okay, in the first it is slide, roll, and then spin. So while I am taking the name of the object, you have to tell me that what kind of movement that object does, what kind of movement that objects do. Okay, so we will do it like this. Okay, so the first object is a pyramid. Yes, you can see the shape. It is flat from four sides, five sides, and there is a pointed edge. So now considering all these facts, you have to tell me that what this object can do, how it can move. So according to the shape, as we see the shape of it, okay, it can only do sliding movement and spinning movement. It cannot roll. Yes, why can't it roll? Because it is not round in shape. To roll, an object must be round. Yes, now the second object is a prism. We call it prism. Okay, so again you have to observe the shape of it. You can see it is flat and pointed edges have. Yes, so this object can slide, it cannot roll, nor can it spin. Yes, स्पिन करने के लिए एक पॉइंटेड एज होना चाहिए. ये बहुत सारे एज हैं, इसका बैलेंस गड़बड़ाएगा. सो इट कैन नॉट स्पिन. ओके, नेक्स्ट थिंग इज सिलेंडर. द थर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट इज सिलेंडर. नाउ seeing the shape of this object, it can slide because it have flat surface, and it can roll also because it has it has round shape. Yes, and if you see it with a close observation, it can do spinning movement too, because if you if you make it stand and roll it like this and do it like this, it can spin also. Okay, so now for this ball, you can see it is round, so it can't slide because it's completely round, no flat surfaces are there. but it can roll and it can spin. These two movements it can do. Then we have rectangular cube. This rectangular cube, seeing the surface, it can slide, it cannot roll because no round surface, no round shape it has, and then it can't spin also. ये spin भी नहीं कर सकता. Yes, so it can do only sliding movement. And then we have a pyramid. Again we have a pyramid. Yes, so this pyramid have flat surface so it can slide, and a pointed edge it has so it can spin, but it has no round shape so it cannot roll. Yes, then we have a cubical cube and a square cube and a square shaped cube. Okay, so according to seeing the shape, it can slide, it cannot roll, nor it can spin. So guys, you saw all these objects and also try to see that how many movements one object can do, and we got this table completed. Yes, so practice it more guys. Okay, when I post the video you can pause it and do this many times. Okay, so now I'm going to move to the next slide and next activity that I've created for you all. And this activity, this is also very interesting and game like activity. Here the question is choose the best option for object given. ठीक है, यहाँ पर there are some objects pictures are given here. Okay, some pictures are given here of some objects. Seeing the shape of the object, you have to identify, you have to get that what kind of movement can it do. Yes, and for that I have given you three options. So the option that the answer that you have imagined or you have perceived must match with the options. Yes, so you have to tick right the correct option. So let's move to the first picture, and this is bat. This picture is of bat, and I have the first option for this: spin, slide and roll. Now according to the shape of the bat, what kind of movement does it do? Yes, does it spin, does it slide, or does it roll? So seeing the surface or the the shape of the object, it can only slide, it cannot spin nor can it roll. Now second object is this pot. This pot. So the options for the movement of the pots are roll, slide, and roll and spin. So this pot can roll. Yes, it can roll. It cannot slide. But there is third option that it can roll and spin. So the best option is roll and spin. क्योंकि अकेले रोल नहीं करता है ना, ये spin भी करता है. So the third option would be the best option for this, that it can roll as well as spin. Yes. Now let's move on to the next slide. Yes. In this picture, in this slide, the first picture is ring. Now, seeing the ring, tell me which option would be the best option for its movement. So the first is roll and slide, then slide and then spin. So if you see the shape of the ring very carefully, okay, so it can roll, yes, and from a different surface it can slide also. So the first option would be the perfect option. ठीक है, तो ये एक तरफ से रोल भी कर सकती है और दूसरी तरफ से स्लाइड भी कर सकती है. Now next picture is of ladder. So for ladder I have given you the options roll, spin and slide. So if you see the structure or the shape of the ladder, it can't roll nor can it spin. So only one movement it can do is a sliding movement. Yes, so it can do sliding movement. So it can only slide. Yes. So now let's move on to the next slide, and this slide is, and in this slide we have a top. A top. Yes, you have to see its shape, and according to the shape you have to find out that which option is the best option for this. Yes, so first option is slide, roll and spin, slide and roll. so it cannot slide. Yes, so slide cannot be the movement that it does. Second, roll and spin, and there is one more, slide and roll. So slide is not a movement that it does. So only B option is fit for this object. Yes, so it can do rolling and spinning movement. It can roll and spin. Yes. Next picture is of pencil. Yes, this is pencil, and for pencil I have given you the option spin, slide and roll, spin and roll. So this cannot spin, and if you see slide and roll, yes, this can slide as well as it can roll. Next, C option is spin and roll. So spin it can't do. Yes, it cannot spin. So the second option, the B, is the correct option for this. Yes. Okay, guys. So this way we completed the second activity where we had to choose the best option for okay, one more slide I have, one more slide we have, so we would do it too. So in this slide I have given you this conical shape. Yes, the object of conical shape. So for this I have given you the option slide, roll, slide and spin, and slide and roll. So seeing the surface or shape of this object, it can do it can roll as well as slide because we have flat surface, and it can also spin. If you keep it from this side, it can spin also. So the B option is perfect. Yes, it can roll, slide and spin. It can do every possible movement. Yes, and then the next object is coin. Yes, and for coin I have given you the options spin, slide and roll, and spin, slide and roll. See, it can, yeah, it can spin. Yes, it can spin. Next option is slide and roll. Yes, it can slide also, it can roll also. Now see, spin, slide and roll. So we know that these objects can do all movements. So the C option is perfect because all the movements are written here. Yeah, it can spin, slide as well as roll. So the third option, the C option, is the correct option for coin. Yes. Okay, so this way we finish the second activity, and now we are going to complete the third activity, which is give your response. So in this I am going to ask you questions. Yes, and you have to answer in yes or no. Okay, this question is all about the movements of the object. In question there are there are some objects. Okay, and I would ask you that how do they move. तो इस एक्टिविटी में कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं जिसमें कुछ ऑब्जेक्ट्स के मूवमेंट के बारे में पूछा गया है. ओके, सो आपको यस और नो में आंसर करना है. Okay, so I hope that you all have got the instructions well. So now I'm moving to the first question. Yes, first question is do chairs roll? Try to understand the question. Do chairs roll? क्या chairs roll करते हैं? Do chairs roll? If you observe a chair, it cannot roll. Yes, it cannot roll. So no is an answer. No. So no is an answer. Okay. So now the second question. Do bottles roll and slide? Do bottles roll and slide? Now I'm asking about the bottle. See, observe a bottle, imagine a bottle, and imagine the movement of the bottle. Yes, can it roll? Yes. Can it slide? Yes. So a bottle can roll and slide. So the answer for this question will be yes. Okay, so the answer for the second question would be yes. Yes, bottles can roll as well as slide. Now the third question I'm going to ask is this: does bat spin? Now I think you have got the question. Does bat spin? No, obviously not, because bat is long and flat, and a flat thing cannot spin. Yes. So the bat cannot spin. Yes. So the fourth question: do cones roll, spin, and slide? Do cones roll, spin, and slide? So you have seen the cones picture in the previous slides. Yes. And you have got the idea that cones can roll because they are round also. They can spin because they have pointed edge, and they can slide also because they have flat surface at the bottom. So yes, cone can do all possible movements. So yes, a cone can roll, slide, as well as spin. Yes. Now the fifth question is, does prism roll? Did you see the prism? Can you remember the prism shape? Prism shape. Yes, that is flat. Yes. So flat triangular kind of, or rectangular kind of thing. Yes. So does prism roll? No, it has many flat surfaces which doesn't allow it to roll. So a prism can't roll. It cannot roll. Next thing is, does a paperweight spin? I've showed you the paperweight in the first class, and that's a round object and there is a little pointed at one side. That's a little pointed one side. So does a paperweight spin? So yes, its shape allows it to take a spin. So the answer for the second question, last question, would be yes. Yes. So this way you also can practice, and it is my request from parents that please ask them these kind of questions, taking many objects. Okay, listing down the many objects name, you can also make these kind of questions: do chairs roll, do bottles roll and slide, and there are so many questions you can make, and give them opportunity to respond orally and also practice orally. Okay, because with the writing practice, oral practice is also important, because until they are getting speaking opportunities, their language won't get better. Okay, so for their speaking practice, we must allow them or must give them the opportunity for speaking. Okay, so whatever the work I give you, okay, I give the children, parents, please try to convert the all convert those activities or those work into both writing as well as speaking. ठीक है, तो हम उनको अगर राइटिंग में करा रहे हैं तो उसको स्पीकिंग के लिए भी हम उन्हें मौके दें. ओके, सो थैंक यू. ये वीडियो मैंने कल जो हमारी टेक्निकल एरर आई थी और मैं वीडियो शेयर नहीं कर पाया था बच्चों के लिए, तो उसके लिए मैंने ये वीडियो आज बनाई. ओके, सो आप लोगों को मैं ये वीडियो शेयर करूंगा, आप लोग इसे पॉज करके जैसे भी इस्तेमाल करना चाहें. और अगर कॉन्सेप्चुअली दिक्कत हुई थी पिछली क्लास में, ठीक से समझ नहीं बन पाई रही होगी, सो प्लीज यूज दिस एज अ टूल एंड यू कैन practice with this video many times, as many times as you want. Okay, so thank you. Now I'm ending this meeting. Okay, so see you in next class.